Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Klone guitarist Guillaume Bernard to the podcast. Klone released The Unseen last Friday on Pelagic Records. Guillaume talks about his musical influences, Klone's musical evolution, using AI art, the struggles of touring and playing shows, and more. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Thanks for listening. You can find links in our show notes to our podcast community, for our mailing list, or you can support the show financially on Patreon. And if you aren't subscribed to the podcast yet, I would love it if you subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. Enjoy today's episode with Guillaume Bernard from Klone.
I live in the countryside of France. I live in the middle west side of France.
Okay.
Between I don't know if you know this city, but it's between Bordeaux and Nantes.
Okay.
It's the middle west side of France, and I live usually in Poitiers, but now I'm in the countryside of Poitiers. That is already a small city, so. But maybe in my small city now, I have around 1,000 of people, not more.
Okay.
It's a small.
Yeah. Do you think being in a band and kind of playing and touring has kept you kind of coming back home to like a small city and being more isolated?
Yeah, it's. I like to go in Paris, but it's not the same life. There is so many people there. And here I just have my neighbor, and he have 80 years old.
Yeah.
And everybody is really old around me there. So when I go back from a show, I can see a lot of different people, and you can feel that everybody is alive. But if I take a look around me, I can see a lot of people who are really near to death.
Yeah. What got you into music?
Lot of different things. What I can speak about all the atmospheric things.
Okay.
I also like when we have heavy riff of guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I come from my culture of music is a big mix between pop music, grunge music with a band like Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam or Soundgarden, and also Pantera, Sepultura, all the whole thing. And also my father was listening band like the Beatles, Pink Floyd, The Doors.
Yeah.
All this different music influenced me to do what I do with Klone.
Yeah. Let's talk about Klone. How did this band get started?
It's a long story because we began the band maybe 20 years ago now. So I think we have already released around 12 CD.
Yeah.
The beginning of the band, and at the beginning, Klone was a little bit more heavy.
Yeah.
With more influence like Meshuggah.
Mm-hmm.
The singer we had by the past also was really influenced by Phil Anselmo of Pantera, and Jan, the new singer, I think he have a voice really closer like a singer like Bernard of Tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For Klone, it's a very long story. I can speak about this for a long time, but if I have to do something short, maybe I can explain that today Klone is more rock progressive or metal progressive band. But we, since the beginning of the band, we still use the same elements, in our music, like saxophone, like melodic things, like growl on the voice sometimes. And it's a global mix between all the influences we have, like rock, prog, and metal music.
Yeah. It seems like there's always been an evolution in the music, but it seems like with the Dreamers Hideaway, that was really the turning point for the band's sound. Was it just changing members that led to that, or?
We just changed a drummer just after this album, but if I can speak today about this album, for me it's still metal music because the production of the album is with a big there is a lot of big distortion on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
For my part, I think the point of changement is maybe with the Here Comes the Sun album. This is not me. I know that all the people say that, you know, it's just because on this album it's more atmospheric. Yeah. There is no growl, and there is not so much distortion on the guitar. So I think this one is beginning of a new story for Klone.
Yeah. What was it that led you in that direction musically? Just time to change, or?
Well, at this moment, I think it's just try to experiment something. You know, I remember that we needed more reverb on the guitar, and my opinion at this moment was I just thought that maybe I'd like to have a big sound of guitar, but with less distortion possible. And I just discovered that with my guitar and a big reverb, it can do sometimes something like a special distortion, you know, and finally for me it sounds bigger than when we use a lot of distortion, because when you use a lot of distortion on your guitar, there is so much compression on your sound, and finally it's not so big, you know, it's just something with really erased maybe. And so we just experiment different things, and if you take a look on the last album we did, maybe it's a mix between Le Grand Voyage and Here Comes the Sun, because with the Meanwhile album, the one just before the last one we will release, it's we just try to put more distortion on our sound. And finally it was not so good for my ears. I don't really maybe it is because I'm old today, and just I'm really tired to listen a full album, you know, with a lot of distortion. I need more air in the sound.
Yeah. Dynamics are helpful, and
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. How did you guys get connected with Pelagic Records?
Wow, it's a long story, because we began to work with this label maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And sorry, but I can explain a different problem we have with Pelagic. But at first we released Here Comes the Sun album with him just for the rest of the world, because we already had a label in France called V Records. And finally, after Here Comes the Sun album, we was recording the Le Grand Voyage. And I sent this album to Pelagic, and the return from the label was not so good. And so I say, so okay, what do you want to do with this album? Yeah, we can release it, but it's not so good for me, etc. You have to know that it's the best sales we did with Le Grand Voyage. And finally, this album was released with another label called K-Scope in UK, and it's a more progressive label. And finally, I just tried to make a break on the deal we had with Pelagic to release 2 albums with K-Scope, Meanwhile and Le Grand Voyage. And today we have to release the last album. You know, it's just a question about contract we have with Pelagic.
Gotcha.
Just a question of music business. It's not so beautiful sometimes.
Yeah.
but today we release the new album with Pelagic. The last one we have to do with them. And after we are free to do what we want. So, and I like this idea to be free. You know, it's because sometimes it's not so easy to work with all the people. So we have to manage and to different things, and it's not so easy. it's not really a love story. This
Yeah,
is the only thing I can say. So, but because I don't have the right to speak about it anymore.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Understood.
I wanna leave you memories. I wanna see you smile. Life is only just
Album's called The Unseen. What led you to call the record that?
You come from USA?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know, sometimes for my French, I'm not very good in English. You can listen it, and sometimes it's just easier for me to understand English accent
Yeah.
because this is what we learn at school. And
Oh, yeah.
when a guy from USA speak, you know, sometimes it's not exactly the same way of speaking, and I have to. Okay, but it's easy. Why? Why is unseen? Because it's not my decision. It's a decision of the singer, but it's just question about all the invisible things that you can don't feel.
Yeah.
It's just a question about you know, sometimes people say that I only believe in what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And for Klone, it's important to also believe in what we cannot see, because there is a lot of different things. Because if we take care about the sense we have, it's not a full definition of what really exists. So the subject of this album is about all what we cannot see, and can influence different people indirectly. If it's okay for you, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah,
Okay.
I got you. Who did the album artwork?
Wow, it's a good question, and it's very special. Just I have to explain to you that for all the record, for each record we did with Klone, for the 4 last album, we have a special way of choosing a graphist to work with, and we just try to find something. We finish the music first. We finish the music, and after we have to search for a guy who already did something,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be connected with the music we have. So we just take a look on different websites, on Instagram, and sometimes we say, "Oh, this one is a good one," you know, because when I look at it and when I listen to the music, it catch. It's perfect. It's really perfect, and this is how we choose the last cover art we did. But for the last one, we did exactly the same. But when I was in contact with the guy who did it on Instagram, he said, "Yeah, it's cool, guy, but I'm a graphist, but I use IA for doing this one." So I say, "Okay, but I really like this one, and for me, it's the one we have to get to put on the record, because everybody in the band was okay and said, wow, this one is cool." So when he explained to me that it's EIA production, I begin to wonder what I have to do with it, because I know that it's not something cool to do today. But finally, I speak about it with another graphist we have in France, and he say, "Okay, it's IA, but really, if I compare with different things I have seen, it don't really look like IA." So and the guy who work on it, you know, explained to me that it's also the process is very long to get something at the end. So, and a good one. So he explained to me that the process is different, but you have to work a lot on it.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of working, but finally it's not so easy. You don't write one word and the cover art is there. So it's so complicated. So I don't know if the people take care about this, because maybe just few people will say, "Oh, no, they use IA, it's not cool, or they don't respect the artist, etc." So maybe yes, but it's just we like the picture, so this is why we have it today. So, but you know, it's I don't want to lie, because I can also tell to you that it's a friend of mine who did this, and it's a robot. Okay,
Yeah.
it's something new. So each time you have something new in the world, all the people are saying that the same, about autotune.
Yeah.
All the people today use autotune for the voice, but at the beginning it was they use the autotune, and finally everybody do this today. So
Yeah.
just have to wait maybe 2 or 3 years, and after it will be. I have seen 2 or 3 video clip full did by a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really impressive to see the possibility you have with this today. So because when you don't have money, you can do something really cool, and that should cost a lot of money. But with this, you can do something cheaper. So I don't know if it's cool, because maybe one day we will see everybody will have the same video clip and the same cover art and the same music too. So let's see what's happened. But sometimes, I think if you can use this new technology with just not completely, but with just small thing, by this way, it should be okay. But I don't know. It's new today, so let's see what's happened in the future.
Yeah. The album is out in just about a month. What's the band's plan for either the rest of this year or looking towards next year? Is it just a tour in Europe? Just play spot shows? Can you even say?
It's very special once again, because we did a lot of shows this year. We did a big tour in Europe with Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
We also played a lot in France. We already did a big tour last year with Devin Townsend in Europe. We also played in Mexico, in the south of America. And today we have to do a break.
Yeah.
It's the release date is the 8th of November, but we have to do a break until March. It's just a question, because we just come to change the booking agency we had. It's a long story, because the last one we have is almost in jail.
Oh shit!
It's not cool. And finally, just in June, I just get this information, so I had to find a new guy at the last moment before the release of the new album. So when you change of booking agency, you have to take care about the good one you will choose. And after, it's also a question about to organize everything. And we just finished to organize the things in September. So they just begin to book show for next year. And I know that we will not have show before March of next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to wait. I cannot say, I know we will tour in France. I know we will do a tour in Europe. We only did a tour in US with Pain of Salvation maybe 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we will come again. We also did the cruise to the Edge.
Yeah.
On the boat. It was last year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what will happen for your country. Surprise for me and for you.
Yeah. I hope it's not a surprise. With kind of streaming music, is it, I don't know, easier or better to kind of wait and give the album or music time to be out in the world before touring to give people a chance to hear it? Or like, it seems like the days of release a record, go on tour right away are kind of done. Like,
I really like the idea that, because today, people need to have more time to listen music and to discover the new songs. And I know that when you do a tour, just at the release date of your album, you play new song and people don't really know this one.
Yeah.
And it's not the best way for the public to discover a song, I know that, and the same for me, I prefer to listen the album more and more. And after, when I really know the song, it's cool for me to discover the live version.
Yeah.
And I think this is what will happen. So we will release different video clip until the end of the year. And we also have a full live we did at the Hellfest festival in France. So people will see everything on internet. And for me, it's also okay to do a break. We cannot play when we play in France. For example, we just come to play at Paris yesterday. We cannot play once again next month in the same city. You have to wait because it's so complicated for us to get all the time the same people who come to your show. So I think they need a break, and we also need a break because when we do a break with Klone, it's just it's not holidays for us because we have to compose a new album for the next time, and everything take a lot of time. So I think it's cool for me to, when I stay at home, I can compose music, we can begin to record things, and it will help us to be organized for a next release album that maybe will be released in 2 years. So this is why I need time to begin to work. So I'm really happy to have 3 months to stay at home because also, I'm a daddy for the first time of my life. And, it's not so easy every day. So
it is not easy. No, I'm grateful to have those days behind me.
Okay, you know this.
Oh yeah, I know all about that.
Even if Klone is an old band, we only play for one tour in US because it's not so easy for a French band to go to tour in good condition in USA. So I really hope we will have the opportunity to play more in US because I really have it's just your country is cool for us because you have the rock and metal culture.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have already been in France, but this is not the same,
I have been in France, but it's different.
It's different. If you take a look on what we can listen on the radio, on the television, it's impossible to see rock music or this kind of thing. And I really remember that when we was in US, when you go to a pub, etc., all the music was cool. For our heroes,
Yeah.
And in France, not the same. So I really hope we will go back again and to do a tour in good condition. So let's see what's happened in the future.